Hello, this is my another video of the playlist of the self-improvement journey. Today I want to talk about this book called How to Influence People and Win Over Friends by Dale Carnegie. You probably have heard about this book. What I did was I read this book, I implemented, I took notes, and I will share some tips about how to make most out of this book. So the first thing, before starting to read it, you have to perform one thing. You have to try to reset your mindset about social relations. What I mean by that is you have to really be open-minded when you read this book. You have to try to forget your beliefs and the way you think humans interact and talk with each other is possibly wrong. What I mean by that is that most people tend to be in the negative feedback loop regarding the social relationships and be in a bad place to start with. What is negative feedback loop? I can explain this concept by example. Let's say you're a student in the school who is not performing well. You're failing grades, your studies are not that great, and then the teacher starts to imply that you're stupid. Because the teacher discourages you, because the teacher called you stupid, now you're discouraged from studying, so your grades and performance gets even worse. So the teacher calls you stupid again, and you perform worse because the teacher called you stupid, and then you're in this negative never-ending cycle of self-hate. This is what negative feedback loop means. Probably you're bullied in your friend group or something, and you have a lot of wrong ideas about the way to interact with people. I'm highlighting this problem because I was in the bad place too. I had a lot of wrong misconceptions that I tried to improve on. So you have to really trust this book. You have to trust that everything written in this book is gonna help you in some way or another. The second, you have to read this book properly. If you take this book and try to read it as fast as possible without paying a lot of attention, you will get motivation, you will feel filled with energy, enthusiasm, you will feel like your social skills are really starting to improve. But what happens in reality is nothing changes. You just finish the book, feel motivation for quite some time, maybe for 1-2 days you will try to implement the principles, but after 2 days or maybe even 1 week, you just slow down and forget about this book. That's a problem a lot of guys face when trying to learn new things. I'm not an exception to this rule. I've read quite a lot of books in my life, and to be fair, I never really learned from them. I just used to read them, feel motivation, feel like I'm learning something, then get back to my normal life without actual changes. To make the actual changes, I would advise you to read books in small parts. Like, let's say you start on Monday, you just read one principle and then focus on it. You reread the chapter and then you try to take notes, try to really understand. The power of notes is really underestimated. When you write something, you better remember it. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like when you write notes, the concept just gets really easy to digest. You just have to take notes, just trust me. And then you finish the one principle, take the notes and apply and you try to apply for 1 week this principle with the people around you. What I used to do was I would read the principle twice, then take notes on the second read. Then I would try to implement this on my colleagues during the work. And by experimenting and trying again and again, some principles started to stick with me. I'm not bragging about anything, I still have a long way to go. My social skills are not that great, but it's significantly better than when it was before I started reading this book. So I would recommend this book 10 out of 10. You have to read it if you really want to self-improve. Even if your social skills are great, you still can benefit from some principles. If your social skills are great, it means probably you're following a bunch of principles from the book, but there are some principles that you're slipping on. So even if your social skills are great, you still can improve on them. And if they're bad, then this book is right for you. And you master it only by practicing. Don't forget to practice. Even if you read it like a god and then take all the notes in the world and repeat it every day, but you don't apply anything, of course you're not going to learn anything. So these 3 steps are crucial. Read it properly with focus, then take notes, and never forget to practice it. Master by practice. Also, about the notes, I would like to point out that in the beginning it might feel awkward, like it's not part of you, because you're fighting your lifelong habits of talking with people. Like you have some system of talking that you already developed and you try to stick to it. So when you try a new thing, your brain kind of resists, neurons are not formed properly, so you struggle to implement them. But you have to try, you have to continue doing it, you have to grind until it becomes part of you. So that's it.